global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings Today. We have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads: Top Igbo retired general exposes why Fulani Herdsmen cannot leave the southeastern states. Alright, but before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to the channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube.
Selective and isolated farming methods have made farms attractive for cattle to graze upon in Southeast region. The former Chief of Army Staff General Azubike Ihejirike, retired, adduced these reasons during the inaugural economic empowerment event by the Amaba Daughters Association in Isugwatu local government area of Abia State. During the occasion, 8 women and 2 men were empowered financially by the women to start businesses of their choice. Addressing them, Ihejirike, who regretted that farming had been abandoned for several years for other trades, while most farmlands have turned into forests, noted that the cattle did not see the farmlands as farms but as forests, pointing out that only when farms were cultivated in large quantities or as cooperatives that the cattle would shun destruction. I believe that if in our communities in the southeast, he means, people come together, clear sizable areas and make their farms in form of cooperatives and not isolated farms. It will be easier to relate with each other and interest groups like herdsmen and local government. But if they farm in communities or as cooperatives, they should also be able to relate with herdsmen who have already organized themselves also in form of cooperatives, he said.
All right, thank you very much. And we want to look at this. I want to say that what he has made mention of has some solution to the issue of Fulani Herdsmen in the southeast, but to some extent it does not. The reason is, number one, these guys are looking for areas that are vast in terms of grasses and the likes. And being that they're coming from different, very far distant places, and there is no demarcated areas for them to actually, put their animals into graze. There's no particular area that is said, oh, this is set aside for grazing, and since that is not done, any place that they come to, any place that they see, plants or anything that looks like grass, which will be most suitable for their animal, they don't mind, pushing those animals in there to graze, just because all what they're looking out for is to ensure that their animals are healthy to the detriment of other person. But where I tend to agree with him is the fact that they need to be a U-turn, especially for those who are living in the communities. They need to see beyond subsistence farming, where a particular family will have a small farm which they eat from and just do one or two sales from it. They need to look at farming as a commercial thing, whereby they can join forces together, buy seeds and other product required to be planted, and then they plant it and do other agricultural practices together, and that will kind of put under check the activities of the Fulani herdsmen with their cow. Why am I saying this? The first reason is that when you get a vast area of land for cultivation, you realize that and it is not just done by a single individual, but by at least a reasonable portion of the community. You realize people won't be lacking around the farm. That's the first thing. People will be seen going to the farm. So if we have a reasonable hectares of land that we are cultivating, and then we want to carry out agricultural practices like weeding and the likes, you realize that people will always be around in the farm. This one will be weeding this side, this one will be weeding this side, and before you know, by the time you see that Fulani herdsmen are about to invade your farmland, you raise alarm. The community will come out. No matter how strong herdsmen is, they can only deal with 1 or 2 or 3 persons. They cannot deal with the generality of the public. They can just maybe get angry, kill one person, but immediately they see you guys coming out in a group, it's very easy to distract because they know they cannot stand the strength of the community. I think that's just one important part of what the man is saying. If you can adopt that style in the way the community have a commercial farmland, which everybody tends to put more of their energy in than all these small subsistence farming here, homestead gardening and all of that, it can go a long way to quell the crisis between them and the Fulani herdsmen. Still, we are hopeful also, because I know that that's just like a short-term solution to the issue, but I think we're still hopeful that the state government will realize the importance of agriculture in the southeast and see how they can put up laws like, your state guys have done. Your state governor, Shea Makinde, came up with an anti-grazing policy, anti-grazing law, which kind of regulate the activities of the Fulani herdsmen in, or your state. Though fairly recently they have sued the your state government to court, and they have given their reason that they have not put them in the light of the anti-grazing, law, and that a lot of things should be cut out of the law. But I know that that may not really suffice. So even as the Southeasterners are waiting for their governors to wake up to their responsibility of protecting life and property and even the well-being of the people, we are hopeful that they will, for the meantime, that the community will hearken to what the retired Major General has said and see how they can, get involved more in commercial farming, where a reasonable portion of the community will, be involved, and see how they can, stop the activities of Fulani herdsmen.
Well, for me, I feel that this is just a temporary solution to the major problem. It's just a case of scratching it, but the major solution, we all have an idea. But let's look at this temporary solution. I can't agree with him on the basis of it being temporary. I agree with the retired general. Why? Because if it is done in a cooperative manner, that means that it's no longer my farm, and I'm no longer the only one bestowed with the responsibility of securing that farm. Now imagine if that ancestral land had been left fallow, and the children of Emeka have not come home to build their mansion that they promised their late grandfather, and the children of Kelechi have not come home to build that edifice that he promised his late father before he died. Those lands are lying fallow. Now he has some cousins and aunties living in the village when he traveled to maybe Dubai or Malawi, or to United States or whatever country outside the eastern region to make a growth, to meet it for greener pastures. There's still some relative he left behind. Instead of them just looking for one other thing to do, they can still go into farming, which is quite very productive, very lucrative business. How do I mean? Now those ancestral land that have been left fallow, they can go into it. Now not just them now, because if eventually they go into it and Fulani herdsmen strike, remember that Fulani herdsmen are gifted in going through urban areas, suburb areas, places that are known for villages where pocket settlements are. That's where you see them mostly in, because they tend to look for where grasses and where fodder is much. And where do you get that? You get that in suburbs. You don't get that mostly in the city. You get that in villages. And so before you know it, you see them attacking these pockets of settlement. So the best way to curb it for temporary solution is to come together, harness yourselves together like cooperative, like my colleague have rightly said. If this particular Papa Kelechi farm is for doing yam, Mama Nonye can be doing cassava, Mama Osita Papa sister can decide to take a tomato, so that all together, that farm now belongs to not just one family, but because of the large expanse on acres of land, it belongs to like 10 different families, where together they put their time, their resources, they weed the place together. So when they want to sell, they sell it as a body. And when they do that, you can't go behind and say, let me go and meet Mama Nonye. Mama Nonye and Mama Kelechi is selling the same thing. They belong to the same cooperative. So whatever price Mama Nonye is giving you is the same price that Mama Kelechi will give to you. So together they even protect the price, and they get money for profit for their effort. And at the end of the day also, when they come to the farm, some of the children can also serve as security. As they come to weed, Mama Noye, if it's not in the farm today, Papa Kelechi will be farm tomorrow. So you just find out every day somebody is in the farm. And this is more than 10 families in one farm. So to speak, the security also lies in the family. So they can be taking turns in securing that land. And when they do that, they have a way of also, like I could still remember, you have the way of, securing the land somehow. You see that the one person as is coming, maybe there'll be some sort of sign of alarm to raise, maybe flute or something, or whistle. So when they see some sort of danger, they'll blow the whistle 3 times to say that danger is coming to our land. Or you see them, before you know it, you can imagine 10 families where grown boys are, and with other community members, say, look, they've entered their farm. You just find that the youth to come out en masse. The reason why you find this Fulani Herdsmen loving Southeastern zone is because, like he has rightly said, they do farming in an isolated manner. Sometimes when the mayhem is done, it's always never reported that same day. Because sometimes that family member may have gone to the farm and may be maimed. You may not notice that he has been in the farm, he has not come back. That it's only the member of the family that will notice it. By the time they look for him, that probably a day after. And by the time the information was spread, probably 2 days after. And who will now begin to tell the government of the day? One person. It will look as if it's not important. One person cannot, override the issues of the whole community. But when, as a cooperative, with one voice, you say no, and with that whole family coming together, marching to the governor's house, look, our farm has been destroyed. It holds more water, it holds more voice. And as a cooperative, they can even meet the stakeholders and say, look, Militiala, please, we don't want your people around there. Now coming like a body, we give voice to their, give voice to their agitation, and to make them. Now, by the time they do this to this community, to this farm, they find out that about 10, 15, 20 people are involved in that particular farmland. They go to another farmland like that. Now find out that it's like they will now find out that all the farms seem to be well guarded. So it will become very uncomfortable, unattractive for them to go in, because nobody is individual. Everybody now is working like a cooperative, just like Militiala is doing.
All right, thank you very much. And that's where we're going to leave it. Please go to our comment section. Let us interact. What's your position on this issue? Do you think that for temporary measure, the Southeasterners can adopt